All right, guys, so we're going to answer this question. Are Jehovah's Witnesses Christians? We have to define, a few terms. When somebody says that they love Jesus and that they believe in Jesus, for example, the question needs to be asked, what do you mean by Jesus, right? What Jesus exactly are we talking about? Because you see, in Orthodox Christianity, or just what all Christians would hold, is that Jesus is the second person of the Trinity. He is God the Son. He is the Son of God. Now, if you are in a more liturgical church, such as, for example, I'm in a Lutheran church, Missouri Synod, or if you go to even a Roman Catholic church, or, Methodist, but at one point, but most of them have gone absolutely liberal. A lot of Presbyterian churches, etc. But you do what's called our Anglican churches, the Apostles' Creed. And so in this Apostles' Creed, you recite things about who God the Father is, who God the Son is, and who God the Spirit is. So the three big creeds are the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, and the Athanasian Creed. Now, as I say, Christians have always held that Jesus Christ is eternal God. He's the same nature or essence as the Father. Though the Father and the Son are not the same person, right? They are, the Father is a person, the Son is a person, the Holy Spirit is a person. But there is one essence. So one what and three whos, as sometimes it's referred to. So when we're talking with Jehovah's Witnesses, the first thing that needs to be asked is, who do they say that the person Jesus Christ of Nazareth is? And in Jehovah's Witness theology, Jesus is Michael the Archangel. He was Michael the Archangel. He was a created being from Jehovah. Of course, Christians would deny that Jesus Christ was ever created. Rather, we go with what the Holy Scriptures say in John chapter 1, in Hebrews chapter 1, and in Colossians chapter 1, verses 15. Chapter 1, starting in verse 15, talks about how Jesus created all things. So in Jehovah's Witness theology, Jesus is Michael the Archangel. He was a created being. And so they also believe that the Holy Spirit is God's active force. That is, they deny that he is a person and that he is equally God. They just say he is Jehovah's active force. Jehovah's Witnesses also have their own translation of the Bible called the New World Translation, which is an utterly corrupt translation of the Bible. You'll see in numerous places where they actually add words to the text. So, for example, in John chapter 1, you see in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was God. In the New World Translation, they add the word other several times. That's Colossians chapter 1, I'm sorry. In John 1:1, it says, it adds the indefinite article was a God. In Colossians chapter 1 is where they add the word other 4 times because they're trying to make the distinction that Jesus is not God and Jesus is not the creator. So you have numerous problems. They have a very different view of Jesus. They believe he was a created being. They have a very different view of the Holy Spirit. They believe that the Holy Spirit is God's active force, not the third person of the Trinity. Of course, they deny the Trinity. They say that is a pagan, demonic doctrine. They have a corrupt Bible that they use, the New World Translation. They believe that salvation is gained through your works. They are logging hours as they are out there going door to door. Salvation is a works-based system. For most Christians, it's the desire to go and be with Jesus and spend eternity in heaven. Jehovah's Witnesses, that's not what they want. You look at them, they talk to them about going and spending eternity with God, and they look at you like you're crazy. They, of course, deny the doctrine of hell. They believe that they hold to what's called the doctrine of annihilationism. see what else. Of course, they deny that Jesus died on a cross. They believe that he died on a stake. They also do not believe in the physical bodily resurrection of Jesus. They believe his body turned to gas, he disappeared, and went back up to heaven as Michael the Archangel. So what I would say is this: Jehovah's Witness theology, it is a non-Christian cult. It claims to be Christian, but they deny all of the essentials of the faith. So if you have a Jehovah's Witness come to the door, I mean, this is what I would say. If you're seasoned, if you understand Christian doctrine and theology, then great, have at it. I used to have them over. I had a study going with them for over a year at one point. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But if you are a new Christian, you need to get grounded in your faith, because they will tear you up and spit you out. Some of the resources I would recommend is a book called Reasoning from the Scriptures with Dr. Ron Rhodes. You can get that off Amazon. Reasoning from the Scriptures with Jehovah's Witnesses. I would recommend The Forgotten Trinity by Dr. James White is a really good book. That'll give you a good foundation on how to defend the doctrine of the Trinity. Definitely Tactics. I recommended that in the last video by Greg Kokel. It will kind of teach you how to engage and have important discussions. If you go on YouTube, they have a video called In the Name of Jehovah. Excellent YouTube. Again, that's a free resource. Carm.org, CARM.org has a lot of resources dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses also. So I would say stay far away from them. They are a cult. Once you get grounded and you're able to sit and have these discussions, go for it and enjoy it. You will sharpen your sword, and hopefully, the gospel will penetrate the hearts and lead people to Jesus. So definitely take time to learn what it is that they believe, because they do study. They absolutely study. They know their script well. They know their theology well. And I think it was Walter Martin said the average Jehovah's Witness can take your average Christian and tie him into a pretzel doctrinally in about 30 seconds. And he's right. So you have to know your doctrine when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. Mormons are a little different. I'm going to do a video on them next. They are different, though, because Mormons deal more with esoteric feelings and a burning in the bosom from the Holy Spirit, not so much doctrine. And so Jehovah's Witnesses have a heavy emphasis on focusing on all the passages that deal with the humanity of Jesus and ignore all the passages that deal with the deity of Jesus. So you will see passage after passage after passage of, well, Jesus wept, Jesus ate, Jesus didn't know such and such, Jesus died. If Jesus is Jehovah, then how does Jehovah not know things? How does Jehovah die? Why would Jehovah get hungry, right? So they really confuse the human nature and the divine nature, and they don't make that distinction of the hypostatic union, which Christians hold to, that Jesus is both human and divine. And so all those humanly passages, they're not a problem, because we affirm Jesus is fully human. It's the divine passages, John chapter 1, Colossians chapter 1, Hebrews chapter 1, John chapter 8, numerous passages and numerous texts that show that Jesus is God. So, Reasoning from the Scriptures with Jehovah's Witnesses, The Forgotten Trinity by Dr. James White. I would say Tactics by Greg Kokel, and check out the video In the Name of Jehovah on YouTube. Hope this helps you guys. Feel free to message me if you guys ever have questions or etc. Feel free to comment, of course, as well. That helps spike our follows. So please, if you haven't given us a follow us, and God bless.